议程吗？表达你可能对美中双边谈判中没有得到的东西感到失望。我好像错过了。我试图尽快赶到韩国，但我当时恰好在华盛顿特区参加一个大型活动，我们在华盛顿特区最大的会议，所以我尽快赶回来去韩国支持他。不幸的是，他已经结束了，而且他当时就知道我要在韩国宣布的所有事情，李总统也知道我要宣布的所有事情，他们都对这个宣布感到非常自豪，也对我们投入如此多的美国技术，并将在韩国进行如此大规模的投资感到非常非常高兴。所以李总统非常支持，特朗普总统也非常支持。我对特朗普总统和中国峰会的成功感到高兴，就像其他人一样，只是通过阅读新闻，听起来这是一次巨大的成功。我不知道他们谈论了什么或没有谈论什么，我期待着随着时间的推移了解更多。你提到中国政府阻止了 H20， 考虑到中国政府一直表示希望中国公司购买中国芯片，你认为英伟达在中国的真正市场机会是什么？这是可以理解的。每个国家都应该希望自己的公司取得成功。中国有非常了不起的公司，他们的企业家精神、技术速度、创新速度、职业道德，当然中国制造业的惊人实力怎么强调都不为过。所以我认为中国公司非常强大，他们完全有权利变得强大，中国也完全有权利希望自己的公司取得成功。但你在其中会扮演什么角色呢？ H38 的竞争力如何？我正要回答你的问题。这是一个多大的市场机会？要我说，今年可能有500亿美元，第二大计算机市场，它充满活力，正在增长，非常现代化，而且竞争也非常激烈。如果我们想在中国取得成功，我们就必须极具竞争力。不过我觉得我们现在有点本末倒置了。我认为最终美国政府和中国政府必须决定他们希望英伟达扮演什么角色。我认为我已经非常清楚地表明，让英伟达的技术进入中国符合美国的最佳利益，也符合中国的最佳利益。我希望并且乐观地认为正确的答案将会出现。我有一个关于你在美国投资的问题。我知道你最近完成了台积电的亚利桑那工厂，所以我想知道你在美国生产的先进芯片将占多大比例？台积电在美国投资了制造业，台积电今天真的因为那项投资而成为了一家全球性公司，而不仅仅是，当然台积电本身就是一家令人难以置信的公司，主要在台湾，因为亚利桑那工厂，台积电现在是一家令人难以置信的全球性公司，拥有全球业务版图。我认为这太棒了，这是台积电姿态的真正转变，它为我们这样的客户提供了制造业的多样性和弹性。我非常感谢他们支持英伟达并在美国制造。对英伟达来说，我们有能力在美国制造关键技术是非常重要的，所以我感谢台积电，我感谢我所有的合作伙伴，从钢铁行业的安姆科、伯克斯农场和韦斯特农场等等，他们都在帮助我们在美国建立整个系统。第一团队何时会交付？韩国的制协商已宣布他们明年的 HBN 供应已经售罄，这是否表明与英伟达就 HBN 的价格谈判已经完成？我实际上不确定答案，但我确定的是，英伟达和 SK、三星以及我们所有的供应商和供应链合作伙伴已经合作了30年，而且不知何故，我们总能找到一起做好生意的方法。我完全有信心，我们将一起取得非常成功的业务。你说的最重要的一点是，增长实在太惊人了。即使 HGM 供应大幅增加，我们仍然将面临相当大的挑战。所以接下来我们在各个业务中看到的增长，每个月都在加速。所以我感谢我们的合作伙伴努力跟上我们的步伐。抱歉，我还有一个问题，最后一个问题，我马上要上场了。在有出口限制和没有出口限制的情况下，你的中国业务和中国销售额会有多大？英伟达曾经拥有中国市场95%的份额，今天我们拥有0%。在拜登政府开始时，我们拥有95%的市场份额，而该政府的政策确实导致我们几乎失去了整个中国市场。我猜，如果我们今天完全进入中国市场，中国对我们来说每年可能价值约350到500亿美元，到本10年末可能会远远超过1000亿美元，这是相当可观的。但目前是0，我们预测为0，我们预计为0，我们希望非0，但我们预计为0。我们会尽最大努力继续发展公司，当然在全球范围内机会确实相当可观。我们正在经历一场平台转型，从旧的计算方式转向英伟达这种新的加速计算和人工智能方式。我们正处于建设这一基础设施的10年旅程的开始阶段。我认为无论有没有中国，都会有很大的增长。但中国市场非常特殊，我们不会想当然地认为它会一直存在。 我们能进入中国市场真的会很有帮助。
Actually looking for you when he's speaking right here. Did you talk to President Trump this week about your Korea agenda, expressing your perhaps a disappointment over what you didn't get from the U.S. and China bilateral?
I tried to get to Korea as fast as I could, but I happened to be in Washington, D.C. doing a major event, our largest conference in Washington, D.C. And so as fast as I could get to Korea to support him, unfortunately, he was already finished. And he knew everything that I was going to announce here in Korea. President Lee knew everything I was going to announce, and they're all really proud of the announcement, and they're really, really pleased that we're investing so much American technology, and we're going to make such large investments here in Korea. And so President Lee was very supportive. President Trump was very supportive. I'm delighted by the success of the summit that they had between President Trump and President Xi. Just from reading, like everybody else, it sounded like it was a huge success. I don't know what they spoke about or didn't speak about, and I'm looking forward to learning more over time.
You mentioned that the Chinese government blocked the H20. What do you think the real market opportunity is for NVIDIA in China, given that the Chinese government has been signaling that it wants Chinese companies to buy Chinese chips?
That's understandable. Every country should want their companies to succeed. And China has really extraordinary companies. Their entrepreneurial spirit, their technology speed, their innovation speed, their work ethic. And of course, you can't overstate the incredible might of China manufacturing. And so I think the Chinese companies are formidable, and they have every right to be formidable, and China has every right to want their companies to succeed.
Right, but what role would you have in there? How competitive is the B30A, for example?
I was about to answer your question, how big of a market opportunity it is. I would say it's probably $50 billion this year. It's probably, call it a couple of $100 billion by the end of the decade. China is the world's second largest computer market. It is vibrant, it is growing, it is extremely modern, and it's also very competitive.
How competitive is B30A,
if we want to succeed in China, we just have to be extraordinarily competitive. But I think we're putting the cart before the horse. I think ultimately, the U.S. government and the Chinese government have to decide what role they would like NVIDIA to play. And I think that I've been very clear that having NVIDIA technology in China is in the best interest of the United States and the best interest of China as well. And I hope that I'm optimistic, and I hope that the right answers will emerge.
NVIDIA has to pay a 15% tax.
I got a question about your investment in the U.S. I know that you recently visited TSMC's Arizona factory. So I just wonder how many proportions of your advanced chips to be produced in the U.S.
TSMC invested in manufacturing in the United States. TSMC really today, because of that investment, has become a global company. Not just TSMC, of course, is an incredible company, largely in Taiwan. Because of Arizona, TSMC is an incredible company that is now global, with a global footprint. I think that's terrific. It's a real transformation of TSMC's posture, and it provides customers like ourselves diversity and resilience in manufacturing. I deeply appreciate that they are supporting NVIDIA in manufacturing in the United States. It's very important to NVIDIA that we have the ability to manufacture critical technology in the United States. And so I appreciate TSMC. I appreciate all of my partners from Steel and Amkor and Foxconn and Wistron and many others who are going to help us build entire systems in the United States.
When will deliver to Korea?
Several chipmakers have announced that their HBM supply for next year is already sold out. Does this indicate that price negotiations with NVIDIA for HBM4 have been finalized?
I'm actually not sure the answer. But the thing I am sure is that NVIDIA and SK and Samsung and all of our suppliers and supply chain partners have been working together for 30 years. And somehow, we always find a way to do good business together. And I have every confidence that we will do very successful business together. The thing that you said that is most important is the growth is so incredible. The growth is so incredible. Even with all of the expanded HBM supply, we are going to be quite challenged still. And so the growth that we are seeing in our business, NVIDIA's business, is growing faster. It's growing faster by the month. And so I appreciate our partners working hard to keep up with us.
Sorry, I have one last question.
Oh.
I have one last question, so I'm about to go on air. How big will your China business and your China sales be with the export restrictions or without the export restrictions?
Well, NVIDIA had 95% of the China market. Today, we have 0%. At the beginning of the Biden administration, we had 95%. And the policies of that administration really caused us to lose practically the entire China market. I would guess that China is probably something like, $35 to $50 billion a year to us if we were fully in that market today. And by the end of the decade, it's probably, well over $100 billion. It's quite substantial. But at the moment, it's zero. We're forecasting zero. We're expecting zero. We're hoping for non-zero, but we're expecting zero. And we'll do our best and continue to grow the company. Of course, around the world, the opportunity is really quite substantial. We're going through a platform shift from the old way of doing computing to this new way, NVIDIA's way of doing accelerated computing and AI. We're in the beginning of the decade journey of building out this infrastructure. I think it's going to be really a lot of growth with or without China. But the China market is very special, and we don't take it for granted, and it would be really helpful that we're in there.
Can you deliver to Korea?